Welcome to this video tutorial, compliments of dkitalk.com. I would encourage you to visit our website and listen to some of the podcasts that we have there and enjoy them. Today we're going to look at the use of an open source piece of software for processing of audio files called Audacity, which is freely downloadable from the internet. If you just stick Audacity into Google, download, install it on computer, and you'll get the screen that we're looking at the moment. I'm going to presume at this point that you've connected a microphone into the input of the sound card, or else you're through a mixer and in through a USB interface, so your USB connector into your computer has been established. Now we're going to record a short voice file. So move the mouse onto the record button, press the record button. You can see a waveform now being generated. So dúirt ban lum, gnúirt ban lehi, gavakashi ban a conic ban a coola ban a raw. Now at this point in time we can see that if we can change the input sensitivity by varying the microphone, so if we make it louder, then I can see that the waveform becomes much larger. So we can choose the level of sensitivity. To stop recording, press the stop button. At this point in time we've seen that the waveform extends over a larger period than the window makes available. So by pulling the toolbar along the bottom here, the scrolling along, we can see the whole waveform. We can also go up into the view section, and we can zoom in by pressing Control 1, Control 2 zooms normal, or we can zoom out to fit in window, Control F. So by using Control 1, if we place the cursor, this is the cursor, if we place it there and press Control 1, we can zoom in. Control 3, we zoom out, and Control F fits the whole waveform on the window. At this point in time, what I wish to do is to play back what I've recorded. So I place the mouse at the beginning and play it back. At any time I can pause it. And in this case here, I simply want to remove the initial introductory section. So what I do is I take the mouse, I play this at this point in time here. Press the mouse there, play it. Sorry, at this point I should have stopped, so press the stop button, and place the mouse there and play it. So stop this again. And what I want to do is remove the front sections of this. So using the mouse, left click and highlight, and I've selected this section of the waveform which I now want to cut. So up here we see a number of functions here. This is a cut function which is going to cut that section off, or basically delete it. We could have gone over to other sections here which would basically trim elements which have been selected inside this selection box or outside the selection box. So play with those. So again, I play the selection that I've made, press the cursor at the beginning and play. At this point here now I'm going to select just this section here. This is the part that I wish to retain, and if I go up along these buttons here, it says trim outside the selection, so it's going to remove all of this element here. So if I trim outside that selection, I'm now left with my original recording, which I'll play once more. I now wish to remove the word so at the start of it, so if I press Control 1, expands it, and I can see that the word so is probably in here. So highlight this and play it. And I can highlight that section and cut that word out. And now I'm left with the desired waveform, which I just play here. And if I wish to what's called top and tail, I'll just remove the tail by highlighting that and cutting it. I now have a waveform which I want to save. So I go up here to File, and in this point here I'm trying to what's called export my file. So I can export as either a WAV file, which is quite memory intensive and takes up a large storage space, or in the more usual format, especially for podcasting, I'll export it as an MP3 file. So having pressed File, Export as MP3, it'll ask me where I wish to save it. In this case here, I'm going to save it on my desktop, and I'll just call this trial 1. And you can see it's in an MP3 format. It now opens up a section called ID3 tags, which could be very useful if it's going to be searched in a format like in iTunes, etc. So for example, I say this is a shannuckle, and I might put the artist, which is Liam Ogue. I might put the album, which is Sayings. I might put the year, which is 2008, etc. So you can add these type of details in, press OK, and this file is now saved. If I minimize Audacity, I can see on my desktop this file trial, which if I double click on this, it will play this file. I'm using Windows Media Player. So as we see, we have now develop this. Now, a couple of features you might be also interested in looking at. If we take a small selection here, for example, we can use this effect button to amplify the signal in order to make it larger. So for example, I will amplify this, and this is a number of decibels by which you can increase the amplitude or the size of the signal, almost like a volume control. So as we move the slider across here, we see this number is getting bigger. Now in this case here, I will make the signal much larger. I'll give it 20 decibels, which is quite a large increase. And you'll notice, very importantly here, this new peak amplitude. What it says here is that if you amplify this too large, it will clip, or else it will distort your signal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to preview this. I'm not sure I have a problem with the preview. Just cancel that and try that again. So again, I'm going to amplify this section. I'm going to, we'll give it say 12 dB, 10 dB at this stage. And the reason actually this is grayed out is because we don't allow clipping. If we allow clipping, now clipping is distortion. I'm just trying to indicate here the size of this waveform will now change when we press OK. You can see that it's quite large. And if we zoom into this here, again we can use this little indicator here to zoom in and out. We can look at the zoom feature of this where it's quite large. Again, if you want to undo something, the very important thing is Control Z. See this? Undo amplify. This Control Z generally undoes any previous action. So if I press Control Z, it reduces the signal to what it originally was. Again, use Control F to fit the whole signal into a single window. Okay, that's the first tutorial, a video tutorial in Audacity. I hope this has been of assistance to you. If you want to make further contact with me, it's liam, liam.ogogin@dkit.id.ie for any of your suggestions or further work that we can do with Audacity.